Many parents are now struggling with how are they going to talk to their children about the violence that happened in Texas. We are joined now by Dr. Carlos Izaza. He is the medical director at Woodridge Hospital's Willow Unit, and he's an assistant professor in the Department of Psychology and Behavioral Health at ETSU. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Sarah.
We have so many questions, but let's just get to some basic ones. We know social media is present. Kids are going to talk, especially elementary school age kids who may not know or realize what is going on. What is a good way that we can approach our elementary school age children about this?
That's a great question, Sarah. Devastating tragedy that impacted the community at Uvalde, Texas. And the nature of the media, the nature of the internet, the nature of social media, it brings these tragedies. It's almost like they're right in your living room, and you see pictures and you almost feel like you're interacting with the families as they're experiencing the devastation of the events. And I think that it's really important to kind of monitor ourselves and our own anxieties and the feelings that these are bringing up. Might bring up feelings from our past, memories from our past, but it can be very disturbing to parents and caregivers. So I would say one of the first things to keep in mind is kind of check yourself out. You know, where are you at? How anxious are you feeling? How are your emotions doing? And reach out to help if you need it. As parents, this is really difficult. COVID hasn't made it any easier. So kind of check yourself out. Make sure how you're doing, because our kids learn a lot. Not so much by what we say sometimes, but by observing how we're behaving and how we're reacting.
Sure. Yeah. How do we initiate this conversation with kids?
That's another fantastic question, Sarah. I think that one of the things that we forget to do is maybe ask our kids first, what have you heard? What about this event maybe have you seen on TV, on the news? What have you seen on the internet? What are your kids talking about at school? Sometimes kids will impulsively ask questions at school, and then teachers are in a tough spot. How do we talk about this? How do we process it? But I think that having that conversation in a very open way, in a very neutral way, tell me what you know. Tell me what you've heard about this. What are your friends talking about? What have you heard at school? And that will give us maybe a top 3 list of what it is that our kids are concerned about, especially elementary school kids. They're at that kind of challenging age where they're asking really tough questions, and sometimes we jump to conclusions. And we risk over-informing our kids with maybe details that are not age appropriate. Maybe we're trying to do a good job in informing our kids and talking to them, but maybe we're giving them details that are too specific and maybe that they can't process. So I would say start the conversation by asking our kids in a very open, neutral way, hey, what do you know? What have you heard? What are your kids, what are your friends talking about?
What are some, I want to get to this question, I think it's important, what are some behaviors that we should look for in kids who are maybe having trouble processing what happened in Texas?
We have great resources, and a quick Google search can help you find information from the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatrists, but really good resources, and it even breaks it down by age group, preschoolers, elementary schools, older adolescent kids. But some of the things to really look for are if you see that your kid is feeling more anxious, maybe wanting to avoid going to school, maybe saying that their tummy is hurting, that they feel sick, that they don't want to go to school today, that might be a clue that they're really being troubled by events. And again, having that open conversation about what it is that you've been exposed to. Other things like maybe being tearful or crying, sleep problems, if they have difficulty sleeping. Another clue is some kids become kind of irritable. And they'll become more grouchy, and they might be fussing, or maybe they're yelling at siblings more, or they're having temper tantrums, or they're getting in a little bit of conflict, extra conflict at home or at school. That can be a clue that something is worth looking into.
All right, Dr. Carlos Izaza, thank you so much. Some great advice, things to look out for as we experience this, as this investigation continues. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Sarah.